From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
That broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Monday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio this morning. We'll give our thoughts on all of the coaching carousel stuff to this point. You can read a lot of that in Neal's 10 Weekend Thoughts, too. That's up at rebelgrove.com currently. And remember that as I hit this button, it is 8:08 a.m. Things could change before we hit the publish button. Things could change later in the day. So be aware of when we record versus when you listen, as we are in the middle of this silly season now as we get going this morning for another week. The podcast brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Go in, get a daiquiri, as little as $3.99, as big as 44 ounces if you so wish. And either way, you're going to get a clean, convenience store. You're going to get good gas prices and the ability to get the ribs, the lunch specials at $4.99, and much more. You can also save money at the pump with the Speed Pass Plus app, the mobile rewards, and more there at all Blue Sky locations in Mississippi, including the Oxford Exxon. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call the number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what new Ford you're looking for, and he'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line, simple and easy, not complicated at all. You get your quote, and then you decide what you want to do with it. You can shop it around, or you can go ahead and let Corey and the people at Clark Ford do for you what they've done for me and so many others, and that's take the hassle out of the everyday car buying experience. And we'll make the deal even better at the end of your deal. Tell Corey that you heard about Clark Ford on the podcast. You can mention any of our family of podcasts, and you will save an additional $500 off the bottom line from Clark Ford in Amory, 662-257-1900.
Had a one-day hiatus from Friday, but you got a beer garden with Ryan Brown, so if you haven't checked that out, a lot of college football heading into championship weekend there on Saturday, and now sort of the wait for 4 bowl games, 4 college football playoffs, and plenty of coaching changes as we move forward. First weekend without football, Mr. McCready. What'd you do?
I covered a basketball game.
That's right. I covered beat ULM on Saturday.
I covered a basketball game, and then
83-60, something like that.
That's correct.
Okay.
And I watched a good bit of the second half of Alabama, Georgia, and I watched bits and pieces of Northwestern, Ohio State. Not much. I didn't watch any of Clemson. I don't even remember what I watched Saturday night. I think we got into the Food Network or something. I don't remember. I didn't watch a lot of football. Then I got up Sunday and wrote, and I worked on, as you did, the defensive coordinator stuff, trying to separate fact from speculation, speculation from rumor, rumor from hope, hope from desperation.
You have a certain bit of annoyance with this. I find the entire thing hilarious. I crack up during this entire part of the season. I find plane tracking funny. I laugh at everything during this month. Every
plane tracking's funny, except when you explain to people that that's not what it is, and they go, "No, that is what it is." Like, okay, it's not.
I think some are kidding when they do that to you, but I think there's a group playing with you.
I think that's certainly possible. It's when the people do the thing of, okay, well, so that plane, what is that plane? I'm like, I don't know. It's not that.
Yeah, I got a call late yesterday afternoon, and someone had seen the post on the message board about a flight that had gone from the Bahamas to, I think, Jacksonville, to then Tuscaloosa, to then Oxford,
yeah.
And the, obviously, Tuscaloosa and Oxford portion of that had gained a lot of interest, and I was informed of who the occupants were. They were not Pete Golding, and we tried to move on with our day. I think I cost message board a few fun hours by making that post, if nothing else. But we try to get ahead of it, and it is what it is.
I do think there are people that are having fun with it. I also do think there's absolutely no doubt in my mind there are people that are being super serious about it, that think that has to be the explanation. It's like you downplayed it, but you know the specifics of the midweek flight that involved Oxford.
Yeah, I just wasn't 100%, so I was careful not to make that one wrong error where then I'm trying to explain that one wrong error the rest of the day. But I'm pretty sure there was a flight to Tuscaloosa, Oxford, Memphis going around during the midweek that also had absolutely nothing to do with Ole Miss's search or candidacy as well. So
no, it was recruiting
base from the University of Alabama.
Yes.
They recruit kids in Mississippi.
They're recruiting Brandon Turnage and N'Kobe Dean, to be specific.
They are. So it's fun. I don't know. For Ole Miss, at least, I remember this starting, 2005, whatever, with Orgeron was kind of the first time I recall the whole plane tracking thing. And frankly, schools were really stupid at that point with it. So you could glean a lot of information from it. You still can occasionally, but they're much better about hiding, even to the point of being very stupid from a cost standpoint to send out some fakes and all sorts of stuff. Like, schools worry about this crap way too much, in my opinion. But it is it's still something that is on the mechanism for coverage for whatever reason. So
well, especially for Ole Miss right now, I think hiding a lot of it is defeating yourself a bit. Quite frankly, Matt Luke is scoring points right now for going fishing for big fish.
Yeah, Pick say go shoot at the elephant and see what happens. That one didn't mean a pun, just the big animal. I mean, go for your game there. And
so you're for trophy hunting? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was fine with the tiger and everything, right? I'm kidding.
No, I mean,
What was that? What was the lion's name? Cecil.
Cecil the lion.
Cecil.
Yeah.
That's right. Anyway, speaking of the Ed Orgeron era, I see Ian Rappaport last night said on Twitter that Joe Cullen had interviewed for the UMass Minutemen head coaching job. Joe Cullen currently with the Baltimore Ravens, I think defensive line coach. I think he played at UMass as well, so it's a little bit of local boy there with UMass. I think he and Longo are down to the final 2 or 3 or something along those lines. And you'll remember Cullen. He was the Orgeron hire that I believe passed out in the subway drunk and maybe drove through Wendy's naked at one point. His tenure did not last very long in Oxford.
It happens.
But if you'll recall, he had maybe either before or after is with the Lions, and he is the one all you guys remember for having a bit of an issue with staying awake in public during his short tenure here in Oxford.
It happens.
Hey, I mean, who hasn't fallen asleep in a subway?
I mean, you go to Subway, that bread is kind of warm in there, puts you to sleep. And then, who doesn't forget their clothes when they go through the drive-thru? I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
You hop in the car and you say, oh, my God, I forgot to get dressed. I'll just go get it anyway.
Yes, he was actually the Lions hired him right after the Ole Miss thing happened. He was at Illinois before that. He was at UMass as a running backs coach way back in the day in 1990. Was with them in 91 as well. He's been in the NFL since 2006. He did play at UMass as well. And, yes, it says that Cullen was fired on his Wikipedia page. Cullen was fired shortly after his hire at the University of Mississippi after being charged with drunk and disorderly conduct after passing out in a local subway. He was also arrested in 2006 for driving under the influence as the DL coach of the Detroit Lions. In another incident, also during the 2006 preseason, he was arrested as he drove through a Wendy's drive-thru naked. He was fined $20,000, suspended for 1 game by the NFL for conduct detrimental to the league, and sentenced by a judge to 10 days of community service to attend Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. So I'm all for second chances, but I am stunned he kept employment during all that with the Lions.
Probably knew somebody.
Good grief. The Lions also were not the picture-perfect organization at that point. That's when they just kept drafting wide receivers in the first round, I think, every single year, if best I recall. So,
yeah. Like I said, he probably knew somebody.
You think so?
If he gets it, and Longo doesn't, we're heading towards the really interesting portion of this offseason. I've been waiting for this. I'm creating enemies by saying this, and I don't mean to be creating enemies. What happens if Phil Longo – and I asked Matt Luke this at the press conference. So I'm not speaking behind anybody's back
No, yes, it's
here.
very direct.
What happens if Phil Longo doesn't get a head coaching job? I know that Ole Miss wants him to get a head coaching job. What happens if he doesn't?
Matt did not really answer that question.
He didn't answer it at all. Which could be because he either A, didn't want to answer it, which is perfectly understandable, or B, doesn't know, which would be problematic, and he probably would have to start thinking about that here soon because it's December the 3rd. National Signing Day is 2 weeks from Wednesday.
It is.
You got to start thinking about these things. Who are you hiring? What are you doing? Because if you're going to keep Phil Longo, you got to start, frankly, spinning it here soon.
Well, unless Longo gets a job, I think he's definitely staying here through December the 19th because Grant Tisdale's signing December 19th.
Well, I do too. But I meant post-December.
He visited him last night with Matt. Saw the picture on the internet.
I meant
Oh, I know. I'm just
December's crazy. I meant after that's over.
Yeah.
And that paper is signed. What then?
Well, because you called me and we had this conversation. We go, hey, we're pretty sure he's not back, but I mean, we all, we get in trouble all the times for just kind of thinking and speculating for ourselves. When you step back and look at it and go, hey, where's the proof? And you go, well, there's really none. We just think that's what's going to happen.
I wrote that on the message board yesterday.
Yeah.
But I was honest, and I said, what do we know? And I put no in all caps. And the answer is not much. Emphatically know it, where I'm like, there's zeroed out. None. No, do we know a lot? Sure, but we don't know a lot. There is a difference.
Oh.
And I'm willing to admit it. There's a lot of people in our field that will not admit that. I will. And I don't know what happens if Phil Longo doesn't get a head coaching job. I know what happens if he does. They're thrilled. And I don't mean that in a nasty way. They're happy for him. He wants to be a head coach.
Yeah, you're not upset when one of your staff members gets a head coaching position.
I don't know Phil Longo well at all. I don't know him at all, really, outside of interviews and football stuff. But he seems like a good guy. I've heard nothing but good things. He wants to be a head coach. I mean, I think they'd be happy for him. It also takes an awkward decision and makes it easy. And everybody wants that.
It also pretty much takes care of whatever buyout would be necessary because a head coaching job would pay basically what he was already making.
Sure, he's due $700,000.
Yeah.
And if he gets a head coaching job, he's not due $700,000.
$700 minimum could be like $8 because they could have a raise built into that too. He made $700 this year. I mean,
yeah, man, hell, his contract might get rolled over. I don't know. I don't know. You can almost feel.
And Matt did compliment his offense.
Said it was good. Said all
So
they
got
had
to
to do
fix
was
the red zone, obviously.
said they knew how to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
A problematic statement, but he said he knew how to fix it.
And I mean, we all sat there at the time because nobody necessarily expects Phil to be back for whatever reason. We go, well, you're fixing it because you're running something different, right? I mean, in our heads, that's what we did.
Because I had someone say, why didn't you follow up on that? I said, because it's pretty obvious where this is going. But then if it doesn't go there, that becomes a question at some point. Matt, you said in November that you knew how to fix this. So are you saying y'all got it fixed?
Yeah, what are you doing different?
I mean, or I know you're not going to tell me specifically what it is that you've done to fix it, but are you telling the fans that you fixed it? Because that's it. It's kind of giving yourself a lot of rope there. And I think that's a problematic. Look, if Longo comes back and the offense struggles, it gets, and they don't win football games, it gets tough. On the flip side, if you change offenses and you change defenses, even if you're not winning, but you're showing improvement, there's not this hot seat talk. If you roll the same offensive coordinator out there for year 3, it's one of those deals where it starts to become an issue. if it doesn't go well.
That's the most fascinating part of this to me is simply total changes and what people anticipate from how many changes mean that you did enough change. Does that make sense? Like, obviously both coordinators would be very, very substantial, but, what on top of that? Because we always talk about, hey, it's this many, and I can speculate or find a reason why it's so many different people, but that still takes them either finding gigs somewhere else or you firing them, and we have no 100%, like you said, no. There's no known that any of that's happening. Now, I think some of it is, but I do think the people that go, hey, look, just wait till the signing day and the axe is coming everywhere, I think they're setting themselves up to be disappointed in a lot of ways if you're expecting some huge mass overhaul of this deal.
Yeah, because let's get back to the human part of this, right? It's December the 19th is signing day. At least on my calendar, I know what's December the 25th. I don't think anybody, even the nastiest person, not named Ebenezer Scrooge or the Grinch, wants to go cutting people the week of Christmas. Doing that to people's families, those families that that you've worked with. That's hard. I don't know where this thing's going. I think I know. I think Matt's going to make difficult decisions because they have to be made.
You also have to look at it from the other side. Ole Miss is not in a vacuum. Jack McNeil, I think he's more than safe, but I think he wants to get back in the NFL. What comes popping there on, Black Monday or whatever it is when the time comes from an NFL standpoint with staffs. Also, John Summerall has been very, very tied to Neal Brown for a long time. Neal Brown is a assumed leader for the Louisville job. He and Scott Satterfield, the head coach at Appalachian State. So
I read where Kansas State would love to talk to Neal Brown. They don't think they can get him. That's where that is. They don't think they can get Neal Brown.
But point being, Neal Brown is going to call John Summerall and at minimum feel him out when he gets a head coaching job that is not the Troy Trojans.
Sure.
And if you're Summerall, I think he likes staying here. He's got a young child. He's got a young family. He likes Oxford a lot. He also doesn't want to get fired in a year. I think there's a lot to that in all directions, and I think he's at least going to listen to Neal Brown. I'm not saying he's taking it. I don't know. I'm just saying
and I'll throw another
it's worth watching that.
Throw another one that I've heard. If Neal Brown leaves Troy probably will not shut its football program down. They'll probably hire another coach, and John Summerall will be on that short list because Neal Brown would recommend him, is what I'm told. Neal Brown would say, this guy's sharp as a tack. He's been here. He would be great. He would make the transition from me to the next guy pretty seamless for you guys.
Yeah, because Troy's AD is not going to be mad at Neal Brown for taking the
No, they're going to give him a hug and a pat on the back and a congratulations and then say before he walks out the door,
let's find the next one.
Hey, would you mind giving me a list of 5 guys? In fact, I bet that conversation's already happened.
Yeah.
Because Neal Brown's in a great spot. Troy loves him. If Neal Brown wants to stay at Troy for 20 years, they'll say done. But they know that's probably not going to happen, that he's going to eventually get the job offer that he wants, whatever that is, and that he's going to leave. And when they do, they're going to say, they're going to put out the press release that goes, we love him and he's awesome and he's great. And then they're going to say, we got to replace this guy with someone like him. Give Troy credit. They kind of know who they are.
Yeah, Troy and Arkansas State both do a really good job of this.
And so, if they go after John Summerall and you could be a head coach on a 4-year contract at a place, is that I don't know what Neal Brown makes at Troy. Close to $1 million, I'd guess. So I don't know. There's going to be change. And like I wrote in 10 Thoughts, which is up on the site, sponsored by Harry Alexander, most of this is not going to happen until after the 19th, and then it's going to kind of get wild because people start doing what they need to do.
We'll continue that conversation in 1 minute. First, today the podcast brought to you in part by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga, all 30 years. In one of the oldest mortgage companies in the Southeast, run underwriting and processing is in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting, understands your market, a leader in condo financing, and the float down option. So you can contact Jason Lowe at 662-234-2704 or JLowe, that's JLOWE, at communitymtg.com.
Our guest will join us this week on the Patterson and Earhart hotline. Patterson and Earhart, attorneys at law, specialize in personal injury law and real estate law, but theirs is a general practice that can handle any of your legal needs. When you contact Patterson and Earhart, you speak to one of the partners in the firm, and that's who will handle your case, not some paralegal at a faceless corporate firm. If Patterson and Earhart can't help you, they'll refer you to someone who can. John Calvin Patterson and Wes Earhart are Ole Miss guys. They're local guys, and when you call them, you're going to get one of them on the phone within the same day, guaranteed. So whether you've been injured in a car wreck or have other legal issues, give them a call at 662-526-1992 or check out their website, pelaws.com. Your initial consultation is free. Socks make great stocking stuffers, and Dead Soxy is your stocking stuffer solution. 'Tis the season of giving, and Dead Soxy wants to give back to the Rebel Grove community for all its support. For a limited time, they've increased the promo code from 25% off to 35% off, and the deal is live right now on the site. This is a limited time offer only available to Rebel Grove subscribers and podcast listeners. This ad will not last, so take advantage of this holiday offering before it goes. The code may not apply to items already on sale, but is available for all remaining products, including the limited edition Rebel socks. Whether you're giving your family, your friends, or yourself a gift, give something they'll look forward to wearing over and over again. Everyone needs to experience the difference a quality sock makes. So go to deadsoxy.com, DeadSoxy.com, and enter the code Rebel Grove at checkout to receive 35% off and free shipping on orders over $25. Podcast also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, look no further than Grenada Nissan. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. Go in, tell Gene and Sandy that you heard about Grenada Nissan on the podcast. You heard about it at rebelgrove.com. You'll get Rebel savings on top of the already great deals, great service at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. And I mentioned Harry Alexander. Harry's the sponsor of my 10 Weekend Thoughts, which is up on rebelgrove.com. It's part of the Rivals.com network. You can subscribe to Rivals.com right now, rebelgrove.com, and enter promo code 99cyber at checkout, and you'll get $99 in team gear from the the Rivals fan shop. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He's been in Oxford more than 4 decades. No one knows the residential and condo market better than he does. Go to his site, and he'll prove it to you. It's harryalexander.com. Click on the Properties and Neighborhoods tab, filter through by what you're looking for, and then send him an email. It's ha@harryalexander.com.
So let's jump into it. We talked offense first. Now we'll talk defense. And, again, it is 8:31 a.m. on Monday. So take that for what it's worth. That is where we are. People listen the next day. This could be out of date. It might not be out of date. I have no idea.
I don't think it will be.
I don't either, but I like disclaimers.
Yeah.
I'm big on disclaimers.
I'm not big on giving people timelines that are specific because, God, if you're wrong.
I just said it might not. It might not. That was it.
Yeah, no, you were good.
That's all I said. 2 p.m., Neil said.
I think it goes late into the week.
Based on
what I've been told by people who know.
But it could go very fast if multiple people wanted it to go fast.
Sure.
Who knows?
Could be over right now.
It could. Might be over right now and just nobody knows yet.
It's certainly possible.
What do you think? All right, it's no secret Ole Miss would like Pete Golding to be its defensive coordinator. I think that's easy to say without problems.
Golding? Pete Golding. Oh, yeah. I didn't know what we're talking about. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Kidding. I'm just being stupid.
Yeah. Elephant hunting. Look, played at Delta State, family around the area, got some ties. Matt tried to hire him as the 10th assistant last year from UTSA. Ended up getting hired by Nick Saban. Runs the defense with Tosh over at Alabama.
I think he actually runs more of the defense than Tosh does.
Coaches inside linebackers, I believe, as well, best I can tell, and has skyrocketed up the profession at 34 years old.
Yes.
He's a year younger than me and is doing quite well.
Yeah, he's got offers on the table that are better than the offers on your table.
They are, yes.
Yeah.
He has a little more cash coming in probably soon. So, look, he can stay at Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Nick's not running him off by any stretch of the imagination.
No, Nick Saban would like very much to retain him, according to people inside the Alabama program.
He can go work for Lincoln Riley and be the defensive coordinator at Oklahoma if he wants, I think.
They want him very much. They've offered him $1.8 a year, and they're willing to go higher.
And he can come to Ole Miss and run the defense here if he would like.
And I think Ole Miss would do anything short of selling its soul for him to come.
Multi-year. Because everybody keeps talking about, well, that's even more buyouts. Well, the guy like Pete Golding, they're not as worried about the buyouts because he's going to get another job, and you're not paying lump sums. It's not a deal where if this guy has $2 million, you got to pay him $2 million the next day. All you're doing is fulfilling the contract. Really, buyout's a stupid word for this because it's not a buyout. It is just a guaranteed contract.
Right.
Because all they'll do is just keep paying his same payroll every single day or every single week or month or whatever. Now, you could negotiate a lump sum negotiation.
You could.
But contractually, it's just you keep giving any fired person their paycheck. So when he goes and makes as much or more money somewhere else, should things go squirrely here, you're not paying him anything. It's not a big deal. So don't get hung up on some of these multi-year agreements with guys who you know are going to get jobs when they leave Oxford.
Yeah. Pete Golding, let's just say, for the sake of kicks and giggles, that it goes to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah, there are hypotheticals all around this sign that we're talking about
Let's
right now.
Let's just say, for kicks and giggles, that it just
he takes the gig and
it
it's
just
awful.
all goes to hell next year. 0-12. Southeastern Louisiana beats them 49-7.
New Mexico State's got a new Larry Rose, and he runs wild.
And he just goes nuts. And the season goes to hell, and everybody's fired. Pete Golding is not going to go sit at home for 2 years and eat bonbons. He's going to go get another job. He's not going to get blamed for that disaster. There's no risk in giving him the money. The risk is all in Pete Golding's hands. He's got minimum of 3 offers, and hell, he might have more for all we know. And if you look at them and evaluate them, they're all different. Alabama's not going to pay him $2 million. They're not going to do it. They could, because God knows they're printing money in that football program, but you do have to establish some parameters.
Alabama's been excellent for his career. He's gaining much needed experience. He has become a leader of that coaching staff at a young age.
Yep.
The negative at Alabama is it's kind of status quo. So you kind of get to a point, and once you've done it, you've kind of done it. It is what it is.
But he's not going to hurt himself staying there one more year.
No,
Right.
no, not at all.
There's no risk there. Zero.
At Oklahoma, it's a dang good program with a horrific defense that you need to fix.
And that you can get the players to fix.
Yes.
And there's another positive at Oklahoma. And I wrote about this in 10 Thoughts. Lincoln Riley, according to everyone who knows him, has an NFL itch. I don't think anybody – look, if we're doing – name the top 10 programs in America, you're not naming 10 before you say Oklahoma. It's a top 10 program.
Yeah, sure.
He could go there, coach for a couple of years, win a national title. Lincoln Riley goes, you know what? I'm going to take the job with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, he could win a title this year. He's in the playoff.
Yeah.
Could.
Well, most people think the Cleveland Browns are going to call. So
Oklahoma's not scared of hiring young coaches, obviously. You just saw that with Lincoln Riley.
No, I think they're a proponent of it.
Yeah.
It's my one question about Mike McIntyre. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Well, I meant head coach.
Yeah. But we'll get to it in a minute.
Yeah.
So, he could in this hypothetical, he could go to Oklahoma, make a couple $1 million a year, work for Lincoln Riley, and then Lincoln Riley is the new head coach of the fill-in-the-blank NFL franchise, and he's 37 years old, and he's the head coach at Oklahoma, making a gazillion bucks at a top, no worse than 10, probably top 5 program. Counting his cash at a very young age.
Your positives to Ole Miss are probably from a personal level, it's where his family would like to live. And B, the defense was 123rd nationally. So when you turn them into 60th, you look like a miracle worker.
Oh, there's no question that if Ole Miss becomes proficient on defense, you look like a genius. And in 2 or 3 years, if Ole Miss is a dominant defensive program, you're getting the lion's share of the credit, and I don't think Matt Luke would care. I think you would actually be working for an ego-free head coach who just wants to win, just wants to do this for a long time, and doesn't really care who gets the credit.
We'll ask him about this Thursday because I don't want to put words in his mouth. I had dinner with Jeffrey last night. We were talking about this, and he actually had a little different take. If I understood him correctly, which I'm pretty sure I did. Again, we'll ask him in a couple of days. Is he actually thought that while that was all true, he worried a little bit about perception of Golding just not having a top 50 defense, even though it was an improvement just based off kind of national reputation. Because in some ways, well, you're just the coordinator of a mediocre defense when you go do it on your own for the first time at the Power 5 level, for sure.
Yeah, but I think I would respectfully disagree with him there because this defense was so bad.
Yeah, nobody's expecting a top 10 defense.
No, that's not even realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, you could get a collection of the most brilliant defensive minds in the country. Bill Belichick, Nick Saban, Pete Golding, Dave Aranda.
Send them into a camp for 2 weeks and tell them to come back and put a plan together.
Put them together and say, hey, and by the way, everyone is going to get along. And they could produce a plan, and you still would have a speed issue.
Yeah.
You'd be better, obviously, but I don't know that you'd be top 10.
Yeah, of course.
So I don't if he takes 123 and turns it into 61, it's a huge jump. And then if he takes 61 and turns it into 22,
all of a sudden you're cooking with gas.
Come on, yeah. Your resume is, I'm really good at this. And then when you're recruiting at a high level.
You're winning more, which means it's a little self-fulfilling there, isn't it?
Yeah, this is not complicated.
Should Pete Golding say no and take Oklahoma or stay at Alabama or some other job that I'm not aware of, it appears at least that Ole Miss is going to move toward Mike McIntyre next, the fired Colorado coach. He was the Pac-12 Coach of the Year just a season ago. Has a lot of NFL ties, has some Ole Miss ties as well from his past, has a $10.3 million buyout, so he's not hurting for money right now from the Buffaloes. And well-respected, would give Matt another head coach voice in the building if he wants it. Neal, where you were going a second ago, I think, is just simply what's your energy level after everything you've been through in Boulder?
What's your energy level? How hungry are you? Got $10-point-something million. I mean, that power bill's getting paid. I don't know. What do you want to do? And listen, the people that know him say that the passion to coach football burns bright. So it's probably a non-issue. I mean, you hire Pete Golding, he's going to come in here like a ball of fire. Because look, if you talk risk-reward, Ole Miss is potentially the biggest reward. It is undoubtedly the biggest upfront risk.
Why?
Because you're not going to get the players, at least initially, that you can get at Alabama and Oklahoma.
Curve's different, though. We just said that. All you got to do is get 60, 70, something like that.
And there's a lack of stability right now.
Yeah.
So, if in that scenario where it all goes to hell in a handbasket and nobody makes it, which I don't think is likely at all, but that's not even on the table at Alabama. That's not on the table at Oklahoma. It's on the table at Ole Miss. Let's be real. It is. Does Nick Saban hire you back? Do you have to reclimb the ladder a little bit? And then I don't know. And I'm, you and I talked about this some yesterday, and I think we view this somewhat differently. If I'm him, I've got to separate the family stuff from the professional stuff. And I know people go, no, you want a happy wife, happy life. I have a different perspective on this because it's a personal perspective. I will tell you up front, and Laura would tell you this because I told her this yesterday. I said, if I say this on a podcast, are you going to get mad? And she said, no, I agree with it. I agree with it 100%. The biggest mistake I made in my career, and it was devastating to my career, was when I was hot and I had opportunities in other parts of the country, I restricted where I looked based on her not wanting to leave the South, really not wanting to go far at all. And that was a career killer. It was absolutely a career killer. And you have a window to take jobs and move up that if you don't capitalize in that window, you're never guaranteed that window opens up for you again. And in my case, it did not open up again.
Yeah, my biggest difference with that was simply that I think there's no way he's ever blamed with an Ole Miss failure, so he still stays on track. I don't see as much of a risk.
You might not be red hot again. He's scorching hot right now.
He is. Can
do whatever he wants. And he's got that window to be scorching hot. And look, I'm just kind of playing some devil's advocate here because it's a better podcast than us both saying the exact same thing. And then there's some people that would say, and I mean this respectfully and in strictly a hypothetical, if you want to be in Oxford so bad, let's say that's true, why not wait a couple of years? Not saying that's going to happen. I certainly don't want it to happen. I'm on record as saying I like Matt Luke and I want to see him win. I've told him this, and it's what I genuinely believe. And
but you probably need either Tosh gone or to leave Alabama to get in that spot.
Right.
You've got to be a 100% coordinator to get that gig.
Yes. It's why someone who knows him said to me yesterday, I don't think he's going to go to Oklahoma. In fact, I think the fact that Alabama and Oklahoma play each other in 26 days makes this very problematic.
Yeah.
He said, but the position that makes the most sense for him from a purely professional standpoint is Oklahoma. Because you go over there, big-time program, you recruit big-time players. He knows Texas. He coached in Texas. He knows Louisiana. He's from Louisiana. He can recruit to Oklahoma, get his kind of players. They win big because they improve defensively, and then bam. Now you're, as you say, cooking with gas because you can either hang at Oklahoma and wait for Lincoln Riley to roll, or you can land your head coaching job damn near anywhere you want it. But the people that know him think that's on his list. That's probably third.
Well, that takes a certain level of patience. That takes a certain level of just kind of. I mean, and again, yeah, Alabama playing Oklahoma is problematic for Pete Golding right now if he wanted that gig.
Sure.
That's much more complicated than Ole Miss or West Virginia or whomever else.
Now, Lincoln Riley might say, hey, look, coach against us, beat us, finish your deal, and I'll hire you in January. I don't know that Matt Luke has that much time. Now, if Pete Golding told me privately, hey, Matt, I'm coming, but I need to finish this. Okay.
You wait.
I wait.
I have to grit my teeth to do it, but
I do it. I don't.
I need the right guy.
Yeah, and he is very clearly the guy who would look at the fan reaction. That's why I said all year when everybody goes, Arkansas is a must-win. And I would say, no, it's not.
We're arguing planes over a defensive coordinator. It takes certain defensive coordinators to do that.
Right.
They don't care if it's just some dude.
People would say, this game's a must-win, and this game's a must-win, and that's a terrible loss. I'd say, dude, it's all coming down to this offseason. Who does he bring to his coaching staff? Does he solidify his coaching staff? Does he get people excited? Does he get recruits excited? Does he do all of those things? Because a Pete Golding goes a long way towards doing that. A lot more than a win over Arkansas on a Saturday night in Little Rock in the rain. And I'm not being – or a loss to Vanderbilt on a Saturday night in Nashville. That season, I'm not saying it didn't matter, but it kind of didn't matter. This offseason matters. If he doesn't make the right moves and then he goes into 19 and it's a struggle, from a public relations standpoint, it's going to be very difficult to sell it. If he makes the right moves and 19 starts as a struggle and ends with people going, hey, man, they're getting better, he's fine. So when people go, they must win 6 or they must win 7, I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. You'll know when you look at the product on the field whether it's working or not.
Mm-hmm. We continue this podcast. The podcast brought to you in part by Visit Oxford. Visit oxfordms.com/events to see the full calendar of events in Oxford this holiday season. The Christmas parade is tonight. That starts at 6:30. I think it lasts for about an hour or so there on the square in Oxford. Travel up Price Street, and then we'll end. So head on over. Always a big hit every single year. The Holiday Village is going on. That's at the Ford Center. That started December 1st. That runs through December 15th. The Oxford Community Market, December 4th at the Armory Pavilion. That's 3 to 6:30 tomorrow. And then the Thacker Mountain End of Year Celebration, December 7th, 8 p.m. at Southside Gallery. This weekend you also have the Run for the Kids, the Ugly Holiday Sweater 5K. I think that's a junior auxiliary event, so that is on December 8th. Charity Ball, December 8th as well with the junior auxiliary. That's at Castle Hill Resort. So that and much more going on in Oxford. That's visit oxfordms.com/events for the full calendar.
My post-game columns and this podcast are also sponsored by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust is based in Madison, Mississippi, but it represents clients in 24 states and has advisors in 3 states. Founded in 1997, Pinnacle Trust provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan. Cookie-cutter financial planners put you in a box. At Pinnacle Trust, a box is built just for you. To learn more about Pinnacle Trust, go to pintrust.com. That's PINN trust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast, and you'll get 10% off your first year's fee. Podcast also brought to you in part by the Westin Jackson. Restore serenity to your soul. Visit Soul Spa, the ultimate luxury spa experience in downtown Jackson. Indulge in personalized massages, signature facials, soothing body treatments, and much more on their extensive spa list. Escape from the everyday and rejuvenate yourself in their luxury spa today. And then head down to Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro right there in the Westin Jackson. Sip on a creative craft cocktail or enjoy their curated wine list. It's open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Chef Caden's mission is to connect guests with the community through local partnerships, so gather at Estelle tonight. And the podcast brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you've been thinking about that golf trip with the guys that you'll never forget, or maybe that anniversary trip that she'll never forget, whether you've dreamed of playing St. Andrews or sitting at a cafe in Paris, talk to John before you try to do it yourself. John's a part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values and unique benefits that are simply not available to other travelers. So give him a call. Tell him your parameters, when you're looking to go, how long you're looking to go. Give him a budget and let him give you some options. And you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. Call him at 901-494-3387 or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast.
Podcast is brought to you by MasterCut. Still a little bit of time, but you better hurry today. If you'd like a variety of outdoor Christmas decorations, it'll transform your house into a festive staple of the neighborhood, lighting and garland to inflatable characters. Whatever your vision may be, MasterCuts will help you out with that custom display. And the best part's any decorations you pay for, you'll own them. You'll keep the decorations until they're ready to go up the next year, or MasterCuts will keep them for you. The option is yours. So call today and get a free quote for that, 662-607-7773. So if it was a one-man committee, what would you have done yesterday?
Oh, I would have said, hey, let's take advantage of an opportunity here and go to 8.
That's not on the table.
I would have done what they did. It's
would
fine. You? Look, there are not 4 teams better than Georgia. That's clear. That's as close as anyone's going to play Alabama, assuming Tua can come back. Texas's defense is not good enough to beat. Oklahoma's defense is not good enough to beat Alabama. Thus, the desire for Pete Golding.
Over and under 79.5.
It's a lot.
14's a lot too.
Yeah. And then the other game, Notre Dame, Clemson. It's two big names, blah, blah, blah. It's going to get big ratings because it's Notre Dame. It's not going to be a particularly compelling football game, I don't think. And then we'll get Clemson and Alabama, and Alabama will win by 10 to 17 points. And
it's a conservative sport. They were never putting Georgia in over Oklahoma.
Nope. They weren't going to light the world on fire. They want to be Ryan Brown said this on the Beer Garden, which was in the Oxford Exxon feed on Friday. They want to be liked. These are nice people. They don't want to create enemies.
Yeah, Georgia's one of the best teams. Georgia had to play Alabama.
Yeah.
It's not fair, but life's not fair. Win the game. Don't fake punt. Win the game. You had a chance.
Yeah.
Who was hurt?
God, the fake punt, man.
And you had time to count. His justification was, well, it was open had we done this earlier. Well, once you see that, call timeout. Call timeout. Stop.
Yeah, he should have been standing by an official, and with 2 seconds left, gone. We let it go too long.
Yeah, we don't have the man anymore.
Timeout. Let's punt.
Yeah.
It's a great story. I'm with a lot of people on this Jalen Hurts thing. I know everybody's doing this. See, this is why kids should stay, and that's fine. The flip side of it is I'm never going to be the guy that blames the kid that goes, this isn't working out.
Yeah, don't
here.
make a personal business decision a character flaw.
Right.
Kelly Bryant made a decision. Jalen Hurts made a decision. They are equally fine.
Both are good kids.
Also, and look, Jalen's a great story. I'm sure Jalen inside, it's been a mess of a year, and it's cool. It is really cool. He seems like a good kid. I also have a little bit of issue when we're making the whole family out to be whatever, when his dad called him the biggest free agent in college football history at some point.
Yes.
I mean,
come on.
Again, made a decision. It's fine.
And he made a business decision. He didn't make a character decision. It doesn't mean that he doesn't have character. He very clearly has character. Yeah. He walked onto the field, and those kids cheered for him, and he and Tua apparently have
they seem to get along really well.
A decent relationship at the very least. It's all good. It speaks volumes to the Alabama program. But the decision, make no mistake, that Jalen Hurts made was, all right,
a personal and career decision.
I know I can go someplace and run some offense that I'm good at, and we'll win a bunch of games. Houston, for example. And we'll win a bunch of games, and cool. But I want to play in the NFL, and I think I can play in the NFL. To play in the NFL, what do I have to do? I've got to become a better passer. How do I become a better passer? Practicing on passing. And it's very obvious, and from talking to people, they did treat him differently than a typical backup quarterback. He got more reps. To his credit, he came early and stayed late. He got to work with some of the best wide receivers in the country. And I thought he's thrown the ball better this year. He'll transfer someplace next year and play in a pro-style offense and get his opportunity. It was absolutely a business decision. And now, because of the way it worked out, he'll one day be able to come back to Alabama and walk out on the field, and they'll all stand up.
He could be one of the guys that brings the game ball out.
Yep, even though he might play next season at somewhere.
He'll always be an Alabama guy.
He'll be a Crimson Tider.
Yeah.
Unless he plays against them one game next year, and even then, they'll give him polite applause when his team loses by 14.
Where would you go?
I don't know. I mean, he could do the...
Go to Auburn.
Go to Auburn. Auburn actually would make sense. Missouri would make sense.
He's not going to Auburn.
Missouri would make sense.
He's not going to Auburn. I'd love for him to go to Auburn for the chaos, but he's not going to Auburn.
Missouri would make sense if they don't get Kelly Bryant.
He doesn't have to go in the SEC.
No. I'm just saying schools in the SEC that do make sense. And there's schools everywhere. I mean, go wherever he wants.
UCF.
Sure. Got to make sure they're going to run pro style.
Yeah.
Don't want to be doing the Mackenzie Milton offense.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to throw it, right? That's why Missouri makes a lot of sense. I'm not making it up.
That was a catastrophic program second half for Memphis on Saturday.
Yes.
Just catastrophic.
Yes.
You're dominating the game. You got away from your plan. I actually watched a good bit of that game. Just
huge loss.
Yeah.
One of those losses that shaped the program.
Danny White and UCF, what do you do?
There's nothing you can do because no one will play you.
Yeah, that's the problem. You can't really schedule 4 great Power 5 games. Nobody wants any of that.
No, if Danny White calls Ole Miss, for example, and says, you want to do a home and home? Nope. Sure don't.
I'm curious what Kansas is doing right now.
And that's their problem. You play Kansas, it doesn't help you any. If UCF calls Georgia and says, you want to schedule a home and home? No.
It's a whole lot different, but it's a lot like what Ole Miss used to run into in basketball a good bit. So, you all right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I don't think they have grounds for any lawsuit or anything. I mean, that seems far-fetched. But they are in a really weird spot because do I think they're the best team in the country? Well, Lord, no. But kind of at the point where I at least understand the need for a shot because it's very likely they beat LSU here in a few weeks. And they win again.
Oh, they will beat LSU because LSU's not going to show up. And we're going to have that fight, and people are going to point out that LSU, Greedy Williams isn't going to play. Other kids aren't going to play. They're not going to be motivated. And UCF.
Yeah, not UCF's problem.
Not their problem, but it is what it is. They're going to run into the kind of like Auburn a year ago where Auburn's like, why are we here?
You've got to get your way into these buy-in, at minimum, these preseason games, these first week games. You got to get some neutral site games.
Yeah.
In week 1. Danny White's got to call whomever and go, ESPN, put us in one of these freaking games in Dallas or Atlanta or wherever. Play anybody, I don't care.
Where, I mean, actually, the example should use is probably the one that Ole Miss just played in. Hey, put us against Ole Miss instead of Texas Tech. We'd give it cachet. Schedule us against Mississippi State in you name. We'll be there.
Well, State didn't want to play those. They apologized for having to do that last time.
That's right. It's true.
Sorry.
So we'll play anybody. Name it. We'll play them.
Yeah, the Fresno State deal where you go, hey, anywhere, anytime, just put us in the game.
And the problem is when you pick up the phone and you call Nick Saban or Kirby Smart or someone and says, hey, so UCF in Dallas? No, come on. We won't play them. Why not? Because if we lose, it's a killer. But if you let us play Notre Dame or Michigan or Ohio State, we'll play them because we can survive that loss.
Yeah.
My other thing with Georgia, when people go, Georgia got screwed, Georgia got screwed, Georgia got screwed, Georgia got blown out in Baton Rouge. It counts. It does make me – I go back to that – was it 2014 when Ole Miss and Arkansas?
15. Mm-hmm.
It does make me wonder what would have happened. God, that Ole Miss loss at Memphis would have just stuck out like this nasty sore thumb.
I think it would have been too hard to overcome.
I don't know. I think you're right, but I don't know. I mean, I've talked to people who've talked to people on the committee who say Ole Miss would have gotten in.
Really?
Yeah. But they're like, whew. Because Ole Miss's 2 losses that year were bad losses. Michigan. Memphis
Florida
wasn't close. Florida wasn't close. Those were not nail-biters where a field goal beat you from 51 yards out with 6 seconds left. Those were games that were over in the third quarter. What you got? Everything all right?
Yeah, we're good. I'll take a minute.
Okay.
Nothing related to anything that everybody's
breaking
about.
news.
Yeah. No. Gosh. It is kind of funny Ohio State getting left out. I always like them getting left out. I get a lot of humor out of Ohio State not getting benefits of doubt.
Karma.
Yeah, it's just.
And Oklahoma's defense looked better the other day, and Kyler Murray's fun. Kyler Murray is fun. I'm not allowed to talk about my Heisman ballot, according to Deloitte.
You really like this Heisman ballot. You've mentioned the Heisman ballot about 37 times in the last 4 days.
I'm pretty pleased that I got my vote
For a guy
back.
that's really upset about the AP Top 25, you really like the fact that you have a Heisman vote.
I'd like to have an AP Top 25 vote.
Well, sorry.
I know it's never going to happen.
Life's not fair.
Nope. I'm viewed as too much of an Ole Miss guy.
So that's who you voted for? A.J. Brown?
I voted for A.J.
You did?
I voted for A.J. Brown, number 1. I voted for Jordan Tamu, number 2. And I can't tell you who I voted for from ULM, but I gave ULM.
It's Marcus Green, North Pontotoc kid.
I didn't want to say it out loud,
Okay.
but yes, Marcus Green got my third place vote.
Okay. Think you would keep your vote if you did that?
I'm incapable of being objective.
Okay. How long are you boycotted or embargoed on your vote till it's over, until it's announced?
Yeah, until it's announced on the 8th.
And then everybody writes those dumb columns where it's here's who I voted for and why and whatever. That's okay.
I actually did. I had known who I was going to vote for a long time, and actually, after the weekend, gave it some thought.
I've been serious here, really. I'm not trying to pick at you anymore. I'm done with that for the day, or at least in this particular topic. I'm not a big fan of media picking much of anything.
I'm not either.
I don't really like it.
And I wouldn't do it if there were only like 40 people. But since there's thousands, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no, well, that's part of it. And that's part of the reason why probably it answers the question I'm going to ask. But having that many voters, and having a voter as yourself who admits, I don't watch college football, doesn't that cheapen the award in a lot of ways?
Of course. It absolutely cheapens it.
Yeah.
I mean, in all seriousness, if David Brandt were to say, hey, do you want to be an AP voter this year, the first question I have to say is, how much football am I willing to watch? Because on the years that I was an AP voter, I can tell you that I took it very seriously and watched more football than I ever wanted to watch because I wanted my ballot to be right. God's honest truth. I was an AP voter 3 times, and all 3 of those seasons I watched tons of football.
Almost to the point of too much football.
Read tons. Would come home from, for example, I would go back to the hotel after an Auburn game, and I would get on the internet and I would read, because I missed a lot of games. I would read about games. I would study box scores. I took notes before I did my ballot, because I was usually Sunday morning turning my ballot in, and I put a lot of effort into it. But yeah, when you have thousands of voters, does my vote really matter? Though I'll tell you this, that my ballot, at least 2/3 of it is very respectable, and I did actually put a lot of thought into who I put 1 and 2.
At least 2/3 of it's very respectable.
Well, the third spot doesn't. We know one of 2 people is going to win the Heisman.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not revealing anybody's ballot if I say that it's either Tua Tagovailoa or Kyler Murray are going to win the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah,
I mean, come on. If you're listening to Deloitte and Touche and that upsets you, then okay, just take it away. That's the truth. So on the third person, I might have gone a little unorthodox. Maybe.
Really?
Maybe a little.
Outside the top 5 unorthodox?
You mean top 5 teams in the country?
No, how they will finish. You think your third place person will finish in the top 5 in votes?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I do this when the Saints win, so I'll do it when the Saints lose too. Your NFL playoff picture heading into this week. In the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs are number 1. They have a 1-game lead on the New England Patriots. Both those teams would get byes if it started today. And then the Houston Texans at 9-3. I think they've won 9 in a row now. They would host the Baltimore Ravens in the first round, and then your other game, the Pittsburgh Steelers would host the L.A. Chargers, who again, as you saw last night, played with the Chargers having the big time comeback. The Chargers are 1.5 games better than the Steelers, but it's the whole division versus wild card thing. So 7-4-1 Pittsburgh ahead of 9-3 L.A. as far as the playoff picture. And then in the NFC, the Los Angeles Rams, 11-1, are the 1 seed. The Saints are the 2 seed. The Bears at 8-4 would be the 3, and they would host in the first round the Washington Redskins. And then in the 4-5 game, the Dallas Cowboys would host the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle back in the playoff picture here in the NFC, as the NFC has gone very strange because the NFC South cannot win a football game. The Panthers and the Falcons both falling off the cliff. So
they suck.
Yeah, Minnesota first team out at 6-5-1, and then the Panthers at 6-6. So the Saints' magic number to clinch is 1 in the NFC South, a loss by the Panthers or a win by the Saints. And then they have a 2-game lead now, obviously, on the Bears for a bye in the first round as the Bears lose to the Giants in a very ugly game yesterday.
It was bad.
In New York. It was terrible.
As I told you, had the Bears – really, I was kind of hoping when they scored on the crazy play at the end, I was like, just go for 2 right now. Go for 2. Make it a 1-play game because you deserve to lose. Don't let the football gods – have some justice.
Maybe
here.
As much as any NFL team ever, the Giants have no idea how to win a football game and just fell on their face 10 different times in a row. I mean, Chase Daniel fumbled like 6 plays in a row and recovered every one of them. It was the dangest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. I kept yelling, just catch the ball. But literally when they scored, the Giants were so flummoxed, I thought, go for 2 right here. Do it. Why not? You're on the road. Go for 2. You got your backup quarterback, steal a game. And I kind of think they would have scored just because the Giants were so screwed up at that point. Win the game, get on the plane, and go, we did not deserve that one.
It's fair. Podcast brought to you in part by G&M Pharmacy on South Lamar in Oxford. Go in, get the flu shot. Walk-ins are welcome. They've remodeled. Take a look around. While you're in there, it is $25 without a major insurance provider. If you have one, it is free when you go in for that flu shot. Also, if you want to move all your pharmaceutical needs to G&M Pharmacy, they deliver local in the Oxford area. Again, that is on South Lamar in Oxford.
Podcast also brought to you by Oxford University Bank. This week at OUB, they are running a 35-month CD special at 3.39% APY. Call 662-234-6668. Speak to a customer service rep for full product details. OUB also has a commercial checking account that is now paying 1% interest as long as you keep $10,000 in the account, and it comes with fully interactive online banking. They can set up any local business to deposit checks from their office and not have to worry with coming to the bank daily to deposit those checks. More than likely, any business owner at another bank is now paying a monthly fee for their account, and they are most assuredly not making 1% on their money. So get in touch with OUB 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. And don't forget that you can still register for the spring soccer season in the Oxford Park Commission. If you played in the fall, the cost is $35. You can rejoin. Your son or daughter can rejoin his or her current team. And if you're new and you want to sign up, you can join one of those teams for $55 to play in the spring. Leagues open ages 4 to 15. For more information, it's oxfordparkcommission.com. And we're brought to you by Megan Phillips with LAH Real Estate. She's the person to call for all your real estate needs in the Birmingham area. With almost a decade of experience, Megan's knowledge and expertise can help you buy or sell your home today. So visit her website, meganmphillips.com. That's MEAGANM Phillips.com, or call Megan at 205-602-7929. Again, 205-602-7929.
So, let's see, where are we at? Kind of in close here, the week coming up. What's women's basketball got this week? They actually all for finals this week, right?
They play Saturday at Illinois State.
That's right, in Normal, Illinois.
The weather should work out perfectly for your trip up there.
Glad, get on the road sometime Friday, make a day of it, see the sights along the way.
Yeah.
7-8 hours.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the game that got scheduled on Twitter.
Yes. I actually had thought about going to this one because the Thunder play in Chicago on Friday night, and then I thought, nah.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of effort just for an NBA basketball game.
Especially when I could just watch the Thunder.
Yeah. Get a lot less motivated when it's a 7-hour drive to get there.
Yep.
We mentioned Dead Soxy a while ago. I will throw them a little bit of a plug here. So yesterday morning I was running late for church. I just grabbed a pair of socks out of my drawer. They were not Dead Soxy socks. Put them on, and I commented to my wife around noon that they kept falling down. I was having a big problem. They kept going down, and when I was when we were eating after church, I had kind of crossed my legs, and I was seeing leg because the sock had come down to my ankle. And I said,
"That's what you get."
I said, "All jokes aside, it's true. It's absolutely not staying up on my calf the way that Dead Soxy socks do." So
that's very true.
Just a thought there.
Yep.
As we move forward. So
promo code Rebel Grove at checkout.
35%.
35% off. It's pretty good.
Pretty good, huh?
Not going to last, so get on it.
How long is it going to last?
Not long.
Is it a time last or is it a product last?
I don't know.
You don't know the answer to that?
They just told me it's not going to last long.
Hate for you to ask some questions there.
Well, I just figured if you're hearing it today, get on the site today.
Fair enough. All right, so how'd the basketball team look Saturday? Played a bad team and won the game?
Played a bad team. Won the game.
Are they bad? Are they mediocre? What's ULM? I know nothing.
For a Sunbelt team, they're probably middle of the pack.
Okay. So they're not, like, disgusting.
No, I mean, they're okay.
It's not an RPI drain on you.
They had a couple of good players.
Small.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They were pretty athletic in some spots. They appeared to be well coached.
Everybody else had an opinion on the Italy Blue. Did you have an opinion on the Italy Blue?
I liked ULM's uniforms better.
Really?
A little bit.
The maroon and the yellow?
Yeah, with the hawk.
It's hard to like maroon and yellow together.
Yeah.
It's a really tough color combination.
It is a tough color combo.
Was it the color or is it the script M that was bothering you?
I would have liked to have seen it with more lettering. I think I might have liked it more.
Ole Miss and something across the front?
Yeah, Ole Miss or Rebels or
whatever. Write some stuff.
Yeah. I hate being this critical because I don't care. It's just a uniform. The M made it look like a practice jersey.
Okay. I think people, too, Michael came on the show and talked about this. They've changed the powder blue color. So they couldn't get the one. This is the one they actually want it to be. So if everybody freaking out going, that's not the powder blue. Well, no, because they changed it. They couldn't get the original one, and they could get the original one, and then they kind of ran out of the other one, and I don't know, it was a big mess with Nike. But nonetheless, yeah, it's a deal where this is the color they want the powder blue to be. It's called Italy Blue.
I like it. I like the color. I just would like a little different lettering. But it's okay. I think the kids liked it, and that's all that really matters.
That is all that really matters.
I think the basketball players enjoyed wearing the uniform.
I still just don't like the gray. That's the only one that I really cannot get behind at all.
I don't like the gray either.
I like the red a lot. I like the white, and I like the blue.
The navy blue?
No, the
powder blue.
The color of the uniform Saturday.
I'm in the vast minority on the football thing. I absolutely believe they should produce a jersey in that color. Now, it's got to match the helmet.
So you're wearing powder helmets, too?
I probably would. Unless I went with
Could
powder.
you wear with the white helmets with it?
You could.
You could just change the Ole Miss script to powder blue.
I've told you.
White helmet with the blue Ole Miss script.
Sure. I like the Tennessee Titans uniforms.
Okay.
I like the blue on blue. I like the Memphis Grizzlies uniforms when they wear the light blue with the navy blue lettering. I think it's a good look. So I don't believe that when you're any school not named Alabama or Penn State that you have to be traditional. Oklahoma has switched up its uniforms. Hasn't seemed to haunt them. I just don't think Ole Miss should be a hostage to uniforms. Try some different stuff. Most people liked the all-white. I would have mixed a little light blue into the all-white.
Would have helped the all-white a little bit.
Or a little navy blue. Either one. But I would have gone. Ole Miss likes, and Ole Miss's fans seem to really like the powder blue or the Italy blue or whatever because they wear the stuff. There was a lot of that color in the pavilion. So if you're Ole Miss, that's obviously resonating. So go with it. What the hell? Who cares? Frankly, and I hate to be this guy, but the majority of the people who care have less time left than the people who really like it.
I knew you were going there.
It's keeping it real.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, so yeah. To answer your question, I liked it. I would, if someone came to me and said you're in charge, and that's not going to happen, I would change. I would not. I like the script M. Like I would make it an alternate baseball cap.
Mm-hmm.
I'd make it an alternate football helmet. I like it. I didn't like it as the sole insignia on the chest of the basketball uniform. I would have liked a little more.
Write Ole Miss out, and however you want to write Ole Miss out, and put that thing on the shorts.
Yeah. There you go.
Put it on the little bottom of the short.
I'd be good with that.
And move on with your day.
Or even put it on the back of the jersey.
Yeah.
Or whatever. There's places you could put it. I would have gone with either the Ole Miss script or just Ole Miss in some sort of block letter on the front of the jersey.
All right. Good enough. A lot of recruiting up at rebelgrove.com as well. Russell hard at work on that over the weekend. So multiple stories up, including N'Kobe Dean. So check that at rebelgrove.com. Still use 99 Cyber if you haven't yet. And we'll talk to you tomorrow.